G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag powered by puntingform.com.au, hydrated by Goat Lager, and also a little bit of support from Dynamic Odds, hosted today by the Dutch rudder king himself, Pistol Pete Anthonys. Pistol, how are you, mate?
You've got to stop saying that. I'm going to get approached by the wrong people. I don't think there's a better word
to describe the racing industry.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. I've got nothing to do with it, though. Am I the one being ruddered, or am I steering the ship here? Like, what's going on? I want no part of this sinking propaganda machine.
I don't know.
And I certainly don't want to be drowning.
I don't think we do a lot of ruddering, but it's commonplace in this sport.
I tell you what was good this week. I thought was the standout performance was that meme on punters.com that stitched up that Wayne Hawke's comment about the ride on Masked Crusader. So I had a picture of Wayne, and then the comment, butchered it, terrible job, can't believe it, completely butchered it. And underneath that it said, Wayne Hawke's to the young fella that prepared his KFC zinger box. Classic. Probably the performance of the week in the racing game, I thought.
Oh, that is
good.
To
be fair to Wayne, there is nothing worse than giving in to a bit of Colonel, and it seems to be the food of choice for the trainers. We had Chris Waller on, a massive Colonel man. But if you ask for Mountain Dew and they give you a Pepsi, it does your fucking head in. Extra salt, there's no salt. It's hard in there.
Also interesting to see Karen McAvoy's comments on that when he was questioned from some sections of the media about what Wayne's comments were post-race, and Karen said he never said anything like that.
Yeah, controversy, eh?
Uh-huh.
Just controversy in the great game.
Narrative.
But speaking of that Masked Crusader, I know this is a Victorian show and we'll have the Sydney boys on tomorrow. How is September Run not like $1.80 in that race? It was as good as Masked Crusader, if not better, in the Moya, where we spoke about for like an hour, curls, it couldn't win. Yep. And now it's up against fucking that Magic Millions horse Isotope. It almost knocked off. I don't get it. I can't wait. I might even come on the show tomorrow because I really want to see what they say. I just can't see how it doesn't win.
Well, I hope the boys are doing their homework and whether we get an irrigated track to suit Very Elegant Saturday. Looking forward to the Sydney show. I mean, obviously all the focus is on Sydney because of what's happening on the track, with the horses going around, obviously. But there's all these little byplays going on, the drying weather. If they don't water, it's going to be like a good 4 on the day and drying again, and it's not going to suit
the one import,
the horses that they want to suit. So it'll be interesting. Looking forward to Sheen's take on it too. And what an underutilised resource, M. Sheen. We're so lucky to have him on.
Incredibly. It's a really good day's racing. It's not a really good day's racing. It's a much better day's racing at Caulfield than you'd think. I went back and looked at last year's meeting because anyone who watches the show will probably be aware I'm a bit of a pessimist and a bit it's why Curly and I get on so well with conspiracy theories and breedies but they ran huge time last year in this race, in these races. It was a really strong overall punting form benchmark figure. The rail was in a 3-metre position last year.
Shut the door.
They couldn't lead and win. And Rails and Run was severely disadvantaged. We're in the True on Saturday. There's some big fields, there's some small shitty fields, but it looks a decent day's racing. And okay odds for the majority of the day too.
So what about, I guess, the features, this Bella Spree, the listed race over 1100, race 7. Do you want to start there?
Oh, we'll just quickly talk about race 1. I think Mahatma Daz will win. I think it's a really good way to start your day. Have it in some all-ups if you're sick and that's what you like to do. Thought maybe declares war, some like value in the race from a nice barrier. But I just can't see how Mahatma Deus doesn't sort of start at $1.80 and go very, very close to winning. What race number is the other one, mate?
Race 7. Yeah.
Sorry, 7.
So Mahatma Deus is $1.90 now. Looks like it opened up a little bit.
Well, it was $2.10 this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, watch this space. Race 7, the Bella Spree.
I had a little bit of Knight's Sword, the Sword of Knight, into it, so that's the result. Anyway. Yeah, I think Ancestry and Sister and obviously Alpha Oro take it up. Mossman George thereabouts. Sword of Mercy, who knocked off Alpha Oro next. I think Shisha Fly gets forward. Don't know where to put Rejovac or Liar or Hummer. I expect Ruby Saki, Bumper Blast and Prophet's Thumb go right back. I loved Sword of Mercy. Peter, we backed this horse last start. Well, you might not have been with us.
I was in Perth, but I backed it after, in walking mode. So, yes, I was happy with that. Thank you.
Yeah, we backed it from the yard to beat Alpha Oro. Now, that day, it's SP'd and was backed late, has SP'd 650 versus Alpha Oro's 290. Now, here, they want to offer me the same price about both, basically. At Caulfield, where it wasn't a disadvantage. Alpha Oro was not disadvantaged last start, but it's so unlikely that he's not going to be like somewhat suited every time he races. The extra 100 metres, he's like 1 from 1 track and trip. He's 2 from 2 at the distance. I think the $465 is a great price. I think he start closer to $350, and he'll look the winner for a very long way, and hopefully he holds on because I've backed him.
Is it fair to say that the faster tempo up front expected with Ancestry Sister will be in Alpha Oro's favour more so than, say, Sword of Mercy if we're comparing them last start to this start?
Well, that's very deep, Peter, and very fucking articulate and smart. It's going to be a very, very different race to what it was when Sword of Mercy just ran over the top of it. Sword of Mercy's out like stalking horse with a massive turn of foot. Alpha Oro and Ancestry are the high cruisers. You'd think they go a lot quicker here. I think that will be a different race shape, obviously, which I think might suit Alpha Oro. And you can make a big case for Ancestry too if you like it. I'm not bagging it.
And Ruby Saki, just have to mention
it. What's doing?
Well, that's
what
it.
What is doing?
Trial-wise?
It's won four times over 1,200. Paddy Payne trains this thing, mate. Billy Egan's going to ride it. Don't watch trials. Just grow yourself right up. The horse has won over $1 million. It's with a very, very astute trainer. It's a mare. If it wasn't sweet, it'd be on up at the Magic Millions, getting sold as a broodmare, wouldn't it, Curls?
June, July, I think that sale is. So
maybe he's gonna win a couple, go up there, win one of those races, and get sold. Don't know, but never won over this distance. Only been to Caulfield once. To get back run on horse, I think it'll be near last. It was very, very un-Ruby Saki last preparation. Yeah, trialled nice, but they trial out in the middle of fucking nowhere against nothing, and they look good all the time. It's very, very hard to read them. I'm just penning it off the last prep, the distance, the map, and the likely pattern we see at Caulfield on Saturday. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
This is one of those days, though, isn't it? Like, this is the Vobis day where the huge prize money and everything's set for the day.
And he's of the breed of trainer who is sneaky enough and good enough to just bob up and win. Yep. This was like Darren Weir. I don't know how you describe it. This is when he got really good before he was like a Group 1 trainer. He would just come along with like benchmark 80 horses and win all these races every year. Get all the prize money. He'd target the races.
Yep. Danny O'Brien was good at that too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he showed the right people that he was really good at what he did. Then he started getting better stock and started winning bigger races, I think, is my read there.
I did have a quick look, obviously, because we were doing the show, and I noticed there's $1 million race on the card at Caulfield, and thankfully Starry Legend accepted in that race because I haven't heard of any of them horses.
Oh, what about...
How are they going around for $1 million?
Because it's a showdown, bro.
Oh, the showdown.
That makes all the world of difference.
Sorry. Hey, I apologise.
This is the best. The showdown last year. Have you guessed who won the showdown last year?
Silver Sovereign.
That horse that I can't pronounce.
Quay.
Yeah, Quay.
I was going to say
won the Derby.
Yeah.
It was rode and backed it and it produced. Look, I was going to win the Derby last weekend.
That's right, because I'm pretty sure I backed it in this race last year.
No, we backed the fucking...
No, I backed it. You backed something else.
Yeah. Fred Kersley gave us thing a peach last year.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
It's $1 million race, huh? Wow. She's got a long tail. I know we don't want to talk about every race, but geez.
Well, it's pretty amazing. Like...
Well, I suppose the Victorian bred, the Vobis thing is a Victorian bred bonus race day, so fair enough.
I think this one's to do with the Inglis.
I've no clue.
Neither do I. But they did run like a...
Anyway, I'll tell you what we shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be having a conversation about underpaid stable hands when those types of horses are running for $1 million.
Oh, that was hard to watch, wasn't it?
Oh.
Wasn't it great when the great man TV said, so it's a choice, yes, so they can't really complain. Yes.
Great man. He's got a career. When he decides to hang the binoculars up, he's got a career hosting. Anyway, I digress. I apologise.
It's hopefully the betting agencies can find a way to find some more money to pay for their staff to get educated. So we'll pay. In any other industry, like you're not running like a school, you're not an educator. It's a business. Like, anyway, let's not get lost down that rabbit hole.
Are we taking $1.10 William Pike in the Jockey Challenge? Was my only other question.
Well, I think he'll win race 2, but no.
He's too good, W. Pike.
I don't know what else he's riding.
He's got Lane and John Allen sticking around, so is Jamie Carr. So he's got a few more jockeys up against him this time. Luke Curry's riding around, so it's probably not as one-sided as when he was last year at Mornington.
That was unfair, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, it really was.
It was like Dusty Martin slipping back to the amateurs to fill in for the B grade. Old collegians.
What was his Liberatore when he was up in, what was it? Was it Vietnam or Bali or something, playing for some local side?
He's getting tats and...
Yeah.
You're right. There's a fair bit more depth in the jockey ranks this week.
Yeah, it's a nice card. Hopefully the weather stays as it is. Just had a little bit of a sprinkle, but hopefully it stays fair and fast and even, and excited to get back to Caulfield. I'll really enjoy the members and get to take Little Pistol there with us too this week. Unless, of course, you get a better offer, which can happen.
Still
little rudder.
Just waiting.
Let's see where that rudder takes you.
Nothing like the Dutch explorers, isn't that right?
Kind of like a reach around.
Keep your hands off the mast at all times. Shane Chalier, what is happening up in Queensland town? You've got Toowoomba Friday, which is very exciting because usually it would be Saturday, which means you've got Eagle Farm, Gold Coast, Chinchilla and Kilcoy on Saturday.
And Blackall.
Oh, sorry.
And what?
Bowen and Thangool as well. I've got a couple of things to talk about today, Peter and Jack. So you remember how I conquered Waller up here? Remember we're on the right Waller?
Yes.
Yeah.
I felt comfortable in ticking that box off. Like, we're on the right side of the Waller runner a few times. And then I devoted my life to trying to figure out David Van Dyke and come up with the plus 28-day thing, and I felt like I got a good handle on it. Okay, now I have a new nemesis. So So I'm going to devote some time to Michael Costa because I cannot catch that stable. He had one debut off some ordinary trials the other day at the Gold Coast last Saturday. Dead set won by 37 lengths. Well, it might have been 37, but it was a long way. And there was no...
back?
No.
It wasn't back.
No. I just can't catch them. So I'm going to just dive down a big, deep rabbit hole tonight and just try and get to the bottom of it, trying to find some kind of pattern there. Toowoomba Friday night is interesting. We had a call, someone text the show on RSN when we were with Gareth during the week saying, Curly, you're tweeting about Toowoomba, how it's a death trap. Why do you still bet there? Just as I was about to answer, Gareth said, Curly, just to remind you, you're on air. What a man, Gareth. He actually saved me because I was about to unleash. So we go to Toowoomba Friday. Now, it's a different setup because on a Saturday night, you've got jockeys at Brisbane during the day, the Gold Coast during the day. Some of those Brisbane jocks scooting up north to ride some horses at Rocky or Mackay or whatever. And then you've got the rest at Toowoomba. So Friday night, much different setup. You'll have some jocks riding a couple at Ipswich and then go to Toowoomba to ride some races. There's some decent prize money races Friday night.
So they complain about the workload up there?
No, I don't know where that workload narrative comes from. Like the trainers had that thing about night racing and, saying it's too much work. But what happens is the gossip columnists of the racing industry, they're not journalists, they're complete gossip columnists, need to find a narrative, right? So at one stage there in Queensland, it was trainers complaining about the workload and racing Friday night at the sunny coast and blah, blah, blah. You don't nom there, right? Don't race there. You don't have to.
Mm.
The turnover's more at those meetings than a day meeting at Bow Desert. More turnover on a Friday night, more prize, more money goes back into the industry. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, I found it funny what the bald-headed bloke kind of cornered him. He goes, well, would you like to be put on you can be put on a contract, like you can be employed.
Yeah.
If you want your superannuation and your holidays and, no.
No. You don't have to go to those meetings, really. You can work it out. And with Southeast Queensland trainers as well, I'm not talking about North Queensland here, but Southeast Queensland trainers do take their horses over the border a lot. They can race in northern New South Wales as well to avoid having to race Friday nights if they don't want to race Friday nights. But anyway, sorry, digressed. So I don't know. It's not a flavour of the month up here at the moment. We're coming into the Winter Carnival, so all the publicity in Queensland should be positive about the Winter Carnival, I'd imagine. Enough to talk about there. So Toowoomba on Friday night, I think I don't care. I'm not going to be spending too many units and up at Toowoomba anyway, because of stuff that the guys that are on the Mailbag app or in the chat group get to see my raw reactions and my thoughts regularly, so I don't have to go too deep into that. But I think race 6, number 1, Voulay, might be just the best on the card. Claimer goes on this week, takes 2 off, but he's not a bad claimer for Toowoomba. It ran a huge figure. So we were on the favourite that this horse knocked off 2 back. This horse I heard a story about this Voulay, didn't get worked all week because of the floods we had in southeast Queensland, got locked in a foal box, in a foal yard, never got it out of the box for a whole week. So they ran it at Toowoomba because it needed the run. It sat back and ran a career best and knocked us off, and we were on the favourite for a large bet. And it's followed it up and ran really well again last week with a big weight. It's got the perfect map. There's really good speed in this race. VJ Day, Denawi, Certain, Spinning, Spirit, Moto Miss, all going to be wanting to be somewhere near the speed at some point. Maracoa, the 8's got no speed. The Launcher's got no speed, no hope. They'll be at the back. This Voulay is going to posse up perfectly. It's going to have 3 or 4 horses in front of it. They're going to be 3 and 4 deep and 3 or 4 abreast at the 600. He's going to just cruise up to them, just tucking behind them, get clear air from the top of the straight and win. So there's no prices or anything like that, but once you're watching the show, just make a note of it and just take the price. because I think it'll be winning. Race
Is there a price you want to go down to?
$1.10. I don't know what price I'll bet. It'll be black odds. It'll be black odds. Race 4's an interesting race. It's a 2-year-old over 1,300, and it's a $40,000 race, and there's 7 acceptances and 6 left. We were on alert and ready last start to knock off the favourite, and it ran second. Just a little bit. How you going on this horse? Like, I don't know whether, like, this is the horse that we were on debut that fell, that was going to win and fell. And then we chopped out on it a couple back in a field of 4, and it sat 4 wide over racing and got beat as favourite. So I don't have a very good, I don't know what the word is here, relationship with this horse.
The horse, due to previous experiences at and around wagering on this horse, this situation comes with much more mental head noise than is like normal and or is helpful. But we march on.
I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't even know why I brought up this race, to be honest. Anyway, both of these horses have accepted for a race Sunday at the Sunny Coast. So if they both run here on Saturday night, you can go and back Apple Tart at the Sunny Coast in the 2-year-old race on the Sunday, because there'll be 2 left in it. So take all your multis into that. Pretty skinny. Speaking of skinny,
Pistol.
I won't be not referencing myself here. There's a listed race at Eagle Farm on Saturday for 3-year-olds over 1,400. It's attracted 6 acceptances, which is pretty disappointing. I think the trainers are sort of voting. The trainers are sort of having their say on the track without saying anything, if you know what I mean.
Wasn't there a positive report earlier in the week that David Van Dyke had a look at the track and he thought it was improving and he might consider running his horses there again? Or was that just a complete puff piece in the lead up to the carnival?
Well, there's two ways to attack that. It's always a puff piece. Secondly, we've got like millions and millions and millions of prize money being raced for on that track over the next 6 weeks. Like, they're not that. It's not as if they're not greedy enough to say, "Oh, I'm not going to run my horse at Eagle Farm." Like, of course they're going to run it at Eagle Farm. It's $1 million races. But it's still, I still think it's a horses. I still think it's a horses for courses track while the weather's still warm, which it still is up here. And whilst the track, they had to put like another. I think they had something like 40 mils of irrigation for the Wednesday meeting, which was today's Thursday. So that means yesterday was Wednesday, going by my calculations. They're having to irrigate the track. They're having to water the track a huge amount to get it somewhere near a good form. So it's still very much a horses for courses track. It's been working for us in the punt. We've been a little bit stiff, but on a few occasions. We've been running a lot of seconds. I think we had 3. We bet into 3 races Wednesday at Eagle Farm for 2 seconds and 1 winner. So we're thereabouts and just sticking to the process of just finding the horses that handle the track. But I think the trainers are doing that as well, and now we're seeing fields of horses that actually do handle the track, and that's why they're racing there. So it just becomes a little bit more trickier this week. Like even in that listed race that I discussed, Got a Kiss is $3.30 favourite, and after its last start performance, I'm going to mark it 33s. Just have to be against it just on what it did. It never travelled. It didn't fucking take the corner. It's got to be a horse that you bet against, but you just can't bet early because the market's going to sort of work itself out. Like, every market's 130% or whatever. So I'm not going to tip anything at Eagle Farm just yet. I'd rather just wait to see what we've got left with come race morning.
All right, that makes sense.
Doesn't make any sense really. I just rambled on.
No, it does make good sense. You got a grip on it. we're going well, not going to force it, and there might be, because no one's running their horses at the track, there's not going to be a stack of betting opportunities, so I'm not going to give them away for free because I run a betting business.
Yeah, and also I've got to spend some time on M Costa as well, so I can't be everywhere.
Yeah, you can't. We're doing our best. We're betting a Wangaratta. Are you betting today, Kils?
No, it's Townsville today.
Geez, what about, it might have been race 2, Townsville, 4-horse race. The orange thing went to the front. It was like the biggest grip of all time. Yeah, would have had to ice the pythons when it got off. Like, complete.
For those listening, for those watching at home, I've been doing a little bit of. Am I allowed to talk about? We're going to talk about laying horses and certain setups, right? It's not personal, right? It's just purely business.
It's always, yeah.
So for those that are playing at home and looking at, filling in some time on a Thursday, like have a look at North Queensland and be prepared, and just have a look at some pots on laying some apprentice jockeys up there, particularly in that North Queensland area, Townsville sort of Cairns. They use some claiming apprentices a lot, and they look well suited, but they're apprentices and they're learning, and there's some opportunities there. I don't want to name names; it'd be rude to name names. But there's plenty of opportunities. I've been watching a little bit of North Queensland racing, purely for entertainment purposes, and some small lays, and just working my way through a few jocks that you can sort of, if the race isn't straightforward, you can lay and make wages.
Yeah, it's
hard to. I don't know. You got to watch them enough, and you got to they're learning, and you don't want to have to pay for their mistakes. You want to earn from their mistakes. Is how I see it. It's just a bit of a different way of looking at the game.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
As we'll start making notes about North Queensland.
I am. Just had no idea.
Meanwhile, around the grounds, in sports that are not horse racing, is horse racing considered a sport these days, or is it just considered entertainment for the government purposes? Don't think about that too much.
I was going to say a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme, maybe. I've seen something on Twitter, referenced on Twitter today. Jeez, it made me laugh. Talking about the racing, and there's always someone on Twitter saying that breeders should pay tax, or someone, not the punter. I don't know. This makes me laugh at times.
I think the breeders should be paying a little bit of tax. You don't?
No, I'm all about sustainability, Jack. I feel like I pay my share.
Exactly.
And I think we all should pay a share. Yeah, I think it'd be much beneficial for the longevity of the sport, and particularly with this crisis that we're currently seeing with the staff shortages, Jack. I think it would be great to get some external revenue.
Want to get up before 8 a.m. anymore.
Oh, show me anyone that wants to get up before 8 a.m. for $3 an hour, Jack.
Yeah, well, maybe actually it's 2021 and people can communicate on the internet, and there's more awareness. And
look, the rivers of gold that flow from the wagering won't always be there. You wouldn't have thought. Although I think Australia are up there when it comes to loss per head or per capita on gambling. Australia's
near the it might be the most wagered per person per capita.
Yeah.
But it's still pissant compared to China and all them. But per capita,
I blame the cricket punters for that increase. But when you're winning like our cricket punter is,
68% pot.
You cannot blame us for betting on cricket, can you?
Finally had a losing bet, but it was a dead heat. Didn't get paid out.
I'm not sure whether I got this right. There's been 13 bets, 12 winners in a row. The 13th bet was a tie for most sixes. Is that right?
11 units. It's 11 units, not 11 bets. But
11 units.
If you give me a sec, I can bring it up. But it's been a solid little start to the session. And again, it's just easy to do. You don't have to do anything. Just place them and then keep going.
I don't even watch anymore.
Total bets 9.
First 8 won, and the 9th bet was a dead eat that they don't. Not did we email anyone sports bet or anyone for a justice payout or anything?
Imagine that, hey mate, can we get a justice payout on the Indian Premier League?
Very remiss of me also, because now that we're talking about sport other than racing, I've got some big news for those following along at home, is that myself and Nathan Bush will be recording a BPL preview tomorrow morning. Bushy's been contracted to a bowls club in Sydney. So Bushy lives in Geelong, in Victoria. He flies to Sydney every Thursday to play bowls professionally for this bowling club Friday, Saturday, flies home Sundays.
Oh, it's like, how old is he?
Oh, he'd be like 34 or something.
Oh, so it's like when you're young and you're like good at footy and they fly in, fly out.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Bushy's rang me and said, we've got to record the show. We're back on. He's got a couple of guests coming on the show to give us a little bit more insight about the setups of the teams and the competitions. And he's very keen. He said, I thought I was well prepared for the last tournament, which he fucking blitzed. He said, I've got more insights for this tournament. It's on, he reckons. So looking forward to what he dishes up tomorrow on the show.
We should probably get in touch with... Who's going to broadcast the bowls this time? Is it KO?
I think so.
Should be doing a deal there.
We've got
to be like the only content...
In fairness, we have got something in the works for the big tournament coming up later in the season. So hoping to have a bit more involvement in that.
So, Bill, this is the BPL 13, April 20 to 23, so kicking off next week, or this weekend, I guess, 5 days, whenever that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is.
Looking forward to it. Bushy's not bowling in it himself, but he has been scouting.
So are we doing another product?
Yeah, he'll just roll in. It'll roll. I suppose we'll just change the title of that product, but that was... that was BPL.
That was enjoyable. That was really. Is it all the bowls games going to be at night again?
Yeah, the ones there'll be some like last tournament. There was some like round robin stuff during the day, and then a couple of feature matches that night, and then the finals were at night. So similar, we'll mainly bet into the ones that are televised.
And do we know
We've got so much betting stuff going on now, don't we?
So good.
Do we know if they're actually going to have markets on the bowls, or have they just decided to pull up stumps and say, no, it's too hard, we're getting crushed by one guy?
It's a lost leader. Tell him it's a lost leader.
Bushy's done some homework on who's betting. He's put the feelers out, so he's got all the answers.
Okay.
I won't steal his thunder. He's been doing a bit of work, so looking forward to that tomorrow.
Okay, that's very exciting. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We'll be firing off bets, no doubt, for the next 72 hours and looking forward to it.
Yeah, big weekend ahead, eh? And then we've got Bushy.
We've got a good platform after a pretty dominant Wednesday. You know what? The team collectively doubled, so doubled the cash.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Pope is like... Oh, do you not think like to be winning so consistently at rugby league in this current season is really like strong?
Yeah.
You look at if you go right now and look at this weekend's games that I haven't done, it's so many like $1.20 games.
Yeah, the gap between
digging angles out of nowhere. It's good. Anyway, we're going to be betting in a few more races at Wangaratta, and we back the favourite at race 1 at Pakenham if this goes up. Johnny Allen, Busted and Young.